Have you ever felt that that nagging discomfort when two things just seem undeniably true, but also completely at odds?
Oh, absolutely.
Our brains are like wired to find easy answers, right? To
Mhm.
resolve conflicts quickly, especially with complex stuff or, you know, opposing truths.
Yeah, living in that messy middle, it's just not our default setting.
Not at all.
And that very discomfort, that tension, well, that's precisely what we're diving into today. Our sources talk about this really interesting idea called creative tension.
Creative tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also paradoxical truths.
Yeah.
And the key insight really is that tension isn't like good or bad in itself. It just is.
Right?
The wisdom comes in how we choose to engage with it, not just avoid it.
Exactly. And that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To explore how embracing that discomfort, holding those seemingly contradictory ideas, can actually lead to, well, deeper understanding
Yeah,
and transformation.
that's the goal, using the insights from these sources.
So this creative tension, what does
Yeah.
that actually mean according to the research?
Well, it's described as that unique space where two opposing truths are held together.
Yeah.
And crucially, you're not collapsing either side, not trying to find some simplistic middle path.
Ah. Oh.
Instead, you're letting those ideas sort of rub up against each other. And that forces a rethink of any, easy definitions we might hold on to.
Hmm.
And the result is that something new emerges, something deeper. And it emerges because of their conflict, not in spite of it.
That makes so much sense. It's so common to try and simplify everything, isn't it? Especially in faith or like ethical decisions. We just want that clear answer.
We really do. There's this constant temptation, a pull to reduce complexity, to create these neat formulas that feel manageable.
Like if I do X, then God does Y.
Exactly. Or this is always the right answer, no exceptions. But our sources, they really highlight that this kind of thinking often misses the deeper wisdom God invites us into.
Okay, you mentioned deeper wisdom. Let's unpack that. What exactly is this wisdom we're talking about?
So when we talk about wisdom here, the sources point to the Hebrew concept, chakma. And it's not just about being smart or knowing facts.
Right.
It's more like skillful living, practical skill in aligning with God's purposes, navigating life's complexities.
Skillful living. I like that.
Yeah, think of it like this. Knowledge gives you the puzzle pieces. Understanding helps you see how they connect.
Uh-huh.
But wisdom, that's the ability to step back, embrace the fact that some pieces might seem contradictory, and then skillfully live within that tension to see the bigger picture God is painting.
So it's not about having it all figured out.
Not at all. Proverbs 3.5 to 6 captures it. Right?
Yeah.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. It's not saying be ignorant, but be
Bruh.
deeply dependent, especially when things seem paradoxical.
And the sources point to Jesus as the prime example of this.
Absolutely. He's the ultimate embodiment. His life was just a masterclass into operating constantly in paradoxes.
Like,
Well, gentle yet incredibly bold. Patient but also urgent. Forgiving yet absolutely firm on righteousness. He never, ever reduced his Father's will to simple formulas.
yeah.
His whole life showed perfect wisdom through complete dependence on the Father.
Hmm.
John 5:1. He didn't try to resolve the tension. He lived in it perfectly.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The sources talk about specific both-hand realities in faith. What are some of those core paradoxes?
Right? The Christian walk is just full of them, these
Ah.
tensions that resist easy answers.
Right.
Well, think about God's sovereignty and our human responsibility. Big one.
Huge. Yeah.
Or truth and grace.
Yeah.
Justice and mercy, the already and not yet of the kingdom,
Uh-huh.
being in the world but not of it. God's transcendence, his otherness alongside his immanence, his closeness.
That's a lot to hold together.
It is. And trying to force these into a neat formula, it just robs them of their depth, their power.
Mm.
God really invites us to inhabit the tension, not resolve it too quickly.
And one paradox that comes up a lot in the sources is justice and mercy. They seem so opposite.
They really do at first glance. Justice demands accountability, right?
Sure.
Fair consequences, making things right.
Yeah.
Mercy, though, offers compassion, forgiveness, release from those consequences.
So how can they both exist?
That's the core tension.
Yeah.
How can you be merciful without undermining justice? And how can you pursue justice without becoming cruel? St. Thomas Aquinas put it bluntly. Mercy without justice is the mother of dissolution, and justice without mercy is cruelty.
Wow. Strong words.
Yeah. Even thinkers like Anselm suggested that both are ultimately grounded in God's deeper desire, which is to restore and reconcile.
Okay, so if we hold them together in that creative tension you mentioned, what does that actually look like in practice? Any examples?
Yeah, definitely. When held together, they don't cancel out. They actually create new possibilities. Things like restorative justice.
Restorative justice, seeking healing, not just punishment.
Exactly. And rehabilitative approaches, too. Holding people accountable, yes, but also addressing root causes.
I see.
The ultimate example, of course, is the Christian story of the crucifixion. God's justice for sin, met by his immense mercy through Christ's sacrifice.
Right. The cross.
Then you see it debated in law all the time. Mandatory sentencing versus letting judges have discretion.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
In literature, think of Jean Valjean and Javert in Les Miserables. Mercy personified versus unwavering rigid justice.
Classic example.
And on a bigger scale, truth and reconciliation commissions, like in South Africa after apartheid. They tried to rebuild by combining truth-telling justice with forgiveness, mercy. It's a powerful, often uncomfortable dance.
Those are big societal examples. But what about us, individually? What did Jesus say about our personal responsibility for justice?
That's a really crucial distinction the sources make. Today, we often jump to thinking about distributive justice, who gets what, or retributive justice, punishment.
Right, like calls for systemic change or punishment.
Yeah, and there's a place for that. Romans 13 talks about government's role to promote good and punish evil. But Jesus, his focus was way more on our individual responsibility.
Our responsibility to do what?
To bring justice. By actively loving our neighbors, doing good for those around us. Especially, he emphasized, the poor and marginalized. It was less about demanding justice from authorities, more about being just ourselves.
So how did he show us what that looks like? Did he give, like, surprising examples?
Oh, absolutely. First, he summed it all up. Love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. Love is the action. Then he tells the parable of the Good Samaritan. Sacrificial action for a total stranger, someone despised even. That's active love. That's justice in action.
Right, helping the person right in front of you.
Exactly. And the Sermon on the Mount, it's packed with this stuff.
Yeah.
The Beatitudes, blessed are the meek, blessed are the merciful, blessed are the peacemakers. These are attitudes that lead to just actions towards others.
Attitudes leading to action.
And he set the bar incredibly high for individual justice. He equated anger with murder, lust with adultery. Called us to love our enemies.
That's demanding.
It is. The point is, love isn't just a feeling. It's doing good for others, actively giving them justice in how we treat them.
That makes sense. It shifts the focus inward first. But what about when we are the ones wronged or need help? Did Jesus talk about seeking justice then?
He did. He encouraged seeking justice through faith. Remember the parable of the widow who kept bugging the unjust judge?
Yeah, she just wouldn't give up.
Right, and she got justice because of her persistence. He also commended the Canaanite woman who persistently asked for healing for her daughter.
So persistence matters.
It seems so.
Yeah.
The Gospels are full of people coming to Jesus looking for justice, expecting him to act. It wasn't passive acceptance. It was active faith pursuing God's intervention.
Okay. So besides justice and mercy, are there other, maybe less obvious, paradoxical virtues that are key here?
Yeah, the sources bring up two really interesting Greek terms, philoxenia and philagathia.
Whoa.
Yeah. Philoxenia is love for the stranger. Philagathia is love for what is good. Both are listed in Titus as important traits for leaders.
Love for the stranger.
Like hospitality.
Exactly.
Philoxenia literally means lover of strangers. It pushes us beyond just caring for our own group to welcome the outsider, the marginalized, even those who make us uncomfortable. It's about overcoming that fear of difference, xenophobia.
And philagathia, lover of good.
Yeah, devoted to all that is inherently good and beneficial, holding fast to ethical commitments, to goodness itself, even when it's hard or unpopular.
So wisdom here involves balancing welcoming the stranger with holding on to what's truly good.
Precisely. It involves risking discomfort, discerning when openness aligns with God's justice and mercy, and having the courage to stand for goodness even when it requires difficult decisions. Another tricky but essential balance.
So bringing this all together, what does this mean for us today? In our world with all the confusion and, frankly, noise.
That's the critical question, isn't it? Living in tension is incredibly relevant now, especially in what people call a post-truth culture.
Where feelings override facts.
Often, yeah. Personal feelings, preferences.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem to trump objective facts. And this creates deep confusion about morality, identity, freedom, faith. You name it.
You see it everywhere.
And the result is often broken trust in institutions, a fractured sense of community. Because if everyone has their own truth, there's no common ground. The tension becomes destructive, not creative.
That sounds pretty bleak. How can anyone stay grounded in truth but still embrace complexity, not just get swept away by the confusion?
Well, the sources are clear, truth can be known, and ultimately it's found in Jesus Christ.
Okay.
So the call isn't to give up on truth, but to reclaim clarity, to seek truth with both humility and courage.
Humility and courage.
Yeah, and to engage the world with intellectual honesty, but also with empathy for those who disagree. It means balancing clear, honest conversations with humility and love, not just aggression or shutting people down.
Engaging truthfully and lovingly.
Right. It's not about having all the answers neatly packaged, but about wrestling with the questions honestly and with compassion.
But, okay, when we read or interpret texts, especially something foundational like the Bible, how do we avoid just imposing our own views, making it say what we want?
That's a fantastic question. And that's where something called hermeneutics comes in.
Hermeneutics. Sounds academic.
It's basically just the theory and method of interpreting texts. And the sources make a crucial point here. It's not whether we interpret, because we all do. We all bring our background, our culture, our experiences.
Right, nobody reads in a vacuum.
Exactly. The real aha moment, the wisdom part, is realizing that we need to submit our assumptions, our preconceived ideas, to the text.
Instead of forcing the text into our box.
Precisely. Allow its complexities, its paradoxes, to challenge and shape us. Proper hermeneutics, the sources say, tries to maintain the Bible's authority by genuinely seeking the original meaning intended by its authors, divine and human.
So it's about letting the truth challenge us.
Yes. Submitting our views to what the Bible actually says, not twisting it to fit our preferences. That's engaging complexity wisely while still holding on to objective truth.
That's a helpful framework.
And ultimately, this wisdom we're talking about, it isn't something you just, download once and you're set.
Right, it's not a one-time fix.
No, it's received daily,
Yeah.
often right in the moment you need it. James 1.5 encourages us, if you lack wisdom, ask God. And he gives generously.
So keep asking.
Yeah, this continual asking and receiving means we're called to listen more, pray more, maybe slow down a bit, to stay attuned to the Spirit's promptings, even, maybe especially, when the path feels unclear. It's a living relationship, not a formula.
So it really boils down to trusting even when things seem unclear or completely contradictory.
Yeah.
Embracing the mystery.
Exactly that. It's about embracing mystery, not trying to avoid it or solve it all. God isn't a puzzle to be figured out. He's a person to be trusted. Faith means being able to say, okay, I don't fully get this, but I trust you. Or this feels like a contradiction, but I believe somehow both are true in you.
Yeah.
And maybe the most practical prayer is just, Lord, I need your wisdom right now, not just what worked yesterday, but for this moment. It's a daily posture of dependence, not demanding certainty.
So if we really want to embody this creative power of paradox, and navigate life's tensions well, what does it actually take? What do we need to cultivate in ourselves?
It requires, I think, several key things. First, compassionate discernment. Seeing the person behind the mistake or the issue, not just the transgression itself.
Okay. Seeing the person.
Second, courageous honesty. Facing wrongdoing squarely, not downplaying its harm, whether as others or ourselves.
Honesty even when it's hard.
And third, humility. Accepting that things are complex, resisting that urge for simple, binary, either thinking.
That's tough.
It's an ongoing journey. It requires self-reflection, asking ourselves, where am I maybe too lenient, too harsh? Who am I excluding? It demands openness, being willing to learn from others, especially maybe those on the margins whose perspective we don't usually hear.
Right.
It definitely requires prayerful discernment, constantly inviting God's wisdom to show us those paths where mercy and justice meet, where hospitality and goodness can coexist.
And finally,
action. Courageously loving both our neighbor and the stranger. Holding fast to what's good while extending compassion to brokenness. It's not just thinking, it's doing.
wow. What a rich exploration. It really is a different way to approach life, isn't it? Embracing that tension instead of running from it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And maybe for you, our listener, here's a final thought to mull over. Christian maturity isn't marked by having fewer questions. Perhaps it's marked by becoming more comfortable living in that holy tension and becoming more dependent on God's wisdom for each moment. Ultimately, it's his presence, not our certainty, that sustains us through it all.
So maybe take some time this week to reflect on the tensions in your own life. How might embracing them with wisdom and dependence on God actually lead to deeper understanding and incredible growth for you instead of just trying to resolve them prematurely.